Blackbeard, Captain Kidd, the Gentleman Pirate.
Well, the first two are like very, very talented pirates.
But the last one is the scariest of them all. Instead of killing with weapons, he kills with kindness.
Oh, right, so you're the gentleman pirate then.
Well sussed.
The rumor is you upended your entire comfortable life to become a pirate.
I got bad news for you, genital pirate. Pirating is not for everyone. It's a really dangerous lifestyle.
Hello everyone, I'm Blackbeard.
Huge fan, sir. Huge.
We're gonna go on up there and we're gonna cause some havoc.
How violent do we expect this to get? Note the gusto! Aren't you taking notes?
Vito.
I'm just looting this library, but I'm replacing all the books I've looted with ones I've already read.
You know how hard it is to find someone doing something original out here?
Do these outfits maybe feel like an error in judgment? Or...
It's a power move. Make people feel underdressed, and suddenly you're the one in charge.
You're a lunatic and I like it.
We're swashbuckling. We're looting. Let's have fun with it. Come on. Give a man a warning.
That was your warning.
A lot of the guys are sweethearts deep down.
Well, that's perfect.
They're just dealing with a fair amount of trauma.
Permission to blow them to hell, Captain.
And we're quite certain they're pirates?
Hard to say. One appears to be a heavy-set woman in a silk dressing gown.
Everybody hide! A gentleman never arrives empty-handed. I made tapa. Tapas means little plates.
Yeah, I know about tapas.
Me hearties, and welcome to the good ship Revenge. Revenge on the periodic table of awesomeness. I don't know what we're revenging, but you filthy landlubbers, all of you.
Did you
you're
say
here?
Did you say ship or shit?
You heard me.
The good shit
Welcome
revenge.
to the good shit revenge. That's
Well, it's better than the good ship lollipop.
it's a short trip to a candy shop.
Sure. With a palm tree sway. No, we.
Yes.
Sorry, derailed again.
Off the edge of Blind Man's Bay. But anyway,
Yeah.
hello, welcome to the periodic table of awesome. Today we are sailing the merry seas of piracy, not using a VPN. We're that crazy. We're fucking mad. I tells you. We're fucking out there doing crazy shit.
We're like the Spanish Inquisition is not expected to have us on a Monday talking about piracy, and not expecting that this pirate show is not really about pirates, is it? Well, traditional piracy, but it's different. A different kind of piracy, a piracy of the heart.
Oh, that's disgusting. And I love it.
I can be.
I just looked at the chat and just realized that Casper's gone off on a whole Australian children's TV thing of like, I prefer ship to shore.
Giving me an earworm in the process.
Yeah, I do have the ship to shore theme going on
Oh,
right
no.
now.
Yeah,
But it's going around the twist.
Oh. You know what you're stealing from us? You're stealing our sanity. That's what you're stealing from us.
Oh no! Now it's going to be like H2O Girl or whatever that one was. What was the one with the dolphin that they tried to remake?
Flipper.
My friend Flipper.
Yeah, there was the Flipper, but then there was like Water
Sequest.
Girl or something.
Sequest had the dolphin in it.
Yes, Sequest did have the dolphin, but there's the...
There was H2O, just add water, which was
That's the
mermaids.
one.
Yeah. Come on, let's get to more regional and niche Australian teenage drama from the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, focused around water.
Yeah, very specifically. Yep, no, that's pretty much all of them. I think that we...
Oh, what about Home and Away? That was focused around water.
Was what is it though? No, I don't.
Yes, it was. There's a whole beach.
Water rats.
Oh, fuck.
Good one. That's the one.
Oh no, that's the one.
My grandma's street was on Water Rat.
I started singing the Wide World of Sports.
I was going to say, did you just do Chris Conroy's World of Boats or something? Because that was it, Anthem for the Common Man was very definitely the
Oh,
music
but
for Chris Conroy's
you
World
could
of Boats. That
go
was
ev-
every Saturday on
Go even
Channel
more into
fucking
the
7.
yibbity yibbita. It's the
Oh,
fishing
Rex
Rex hunts, fishing adventures.
Darby
Hello, all
has-
our international watchers.
Yes, exactly.
Next we're talking about Albie Mangles, and then we're just going down a rabbit hole we can't crawl out of.
Oh no!
Uh,
Oh no!
Oh God, that's very impressive. Nobody has mentioned Albie Mangles around me in about 30 years. And
what I'm here for, Quinny.
so, sorry to all of our non-Australian listeners who are not in their 40s. Albie Mangles was a fucking phenomenon.
He was.
He was a dude who looked a little bit like, I don't know, the Marlboro Man. He had like a blonde fro.
He looked like an
and
Australian version of what was the Blue Lagoon? Remember Blue Lagoon? That movie?
Yep.
And the kid in that, the boy side of it, because it was
Christopher
Brooke
Atkins.
Shields was the other one. Yeah. Just kind of
Yeah.
curly, mop headed.
but with a shitty moustache.
Yeah.
And this guy was sort of like the proto influencer. So he would go out and he'd just travel around in his bus and on his boat with his hot girlfriend, and they'd just make films, and then he'd go to small towns and screen the films in the like the little town halls and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how he made all of his money, was just by touring these things around.
Yeah,
and
he just
people
used to rock
watching.
up and just find good looking Sheilas and just be like, hey, we're just going to get on a boat. We're going to go to Bali. And they'd be like, okay. And then he'd record it and then sell it to Australian networks. And they were like, oh, Albie Mangles is great. It's like, is he though? He's not really.
Yes.
And a couple of people got severely injured on his trips because he was not a good tour operator.
So,
For those
Jill.
of us that are masking tonight and would like to finish the show at 8:30,
Yes.
Okay.
what are we about?
100%. Piracy. We're talking about piracy.
We are talking about piracy. So, start up the VPN and see if you can find Albie Mangles on a torrent network somewhere. No,
I think he's on
we're talking
YouTube.
about Our Flag Means Death.
Thank
We're
you.
talking-
There we go.
Yay!
How many
Bring
minutes
it
in
back
before we said the
around.
fucking title?
9 minutes.
Excellent. I reckon we could go for 10 tomorrow.
Uh,
So yes, we're talking about the beautiful Our Flag Means Death, which is an HBO Max series, which means that now it's just a Max series.
Yep.
I guess. I don't know.
It's not long before Disney owns everything, so let's just call it the potential Disney Plus show.
Pirates of the Barbados as opposed to the
Yes.
Caribbean. So, hang on, is Barbados in the
Barbados
Caribbean?
is in the Caribbean.
Yeah, there you go. Fine.
What is it?
She's
It's
a different
spelled-
group of islands. Quinny.
Caribbean is
yeah.
2 R's, 1 B. Isn't that how you meant? That's how I remember doing it anyway.
I
Our
don't
Flag
know.
Means Death.
Yeah, yeah.
Where
Yes.
you can catch it here on Foxtel or Binge.
Okay,
Oh, yes.
right. I wasn't sure where we'd watch it here.
Yes.
So the thing that I'm fascinated by this show, and I don't. Do we go into the synopsis? Do we start talking about it?
Well, usually a regular structure is Quinny. Well, have you got a synopsis for us? Because you know what? I've got some music for you. And what if I start playing that music right now?
Yay.
Okay. Oh fuck! I've lost my synopsis.
We haven't even requested an accent
Okay.
yet.
Oh yeah, we haven't even.
Oh,
A pirate, of course.
Stop the music.
Kiwi pirate.
A seaweed pirate. Old Greg. I request Old Greg.
Kiwi, not seaweed. They're not.
I was ready to go Kiwi pirate, but
No,
then
I like
suddenly it was Old
seaweed
Greg, and
pirate.
I'm like, fuck, what am I doing?
Wait,
Pirate
old Greg with a
Greg.
Kiwi accent.
There
Give
we
me
go.
2 seconds. Do you like me?
Yes.
Do you
Okay.
like me?
Wait,
there you go.
Hang on. All right. Okay. Ready for your music?
Yes, please.
All right then.
Wealthy landowner Steve Bonnet has a midlife crisis and decides to blow up his cushy life and become a pirate. It does not go well. What do you think of me? Based on a true story, the year is 1717. Wealthy landowner Steve Bonnet has a midlife. Oh, no, it just said the same fucking thing twice. Fuck you, IMDb. Why would you repeat the same synopsis twice?
Did you like the synopsis? Make an assessment.
Yeah, exactly. You want to go drink Baileys from a shoe?
Oh,
You want to see my downstairs mix-up? Because I'm pretty sure it was my synopsis mix-up.
Well, there could be some downstairs mix-ups here. Who knows?
Not I, said the fly.
Not us.
one
There
of
you
these
go.
series where when you start out watching, you're kind of like, yeah, this is not for me. And then when you finish watching, you're crying, like
Mhm.
real tears of
Yes.
like devastation.
Very,
That,
very
that's
much so.
like, this is one of those ones. Bit of a slow burn. I'm not sure how many people in the chat have actually given this a try. I mean, it's been out for a little while. I'm a little bit hazy on the details, if I'm going to be honest. I also forgot we were changing the night. I was going to brush up on it tonight and absolutely went. You're just getting my months-old memory of what's happened.
Well,
That's okay.
I'm pleased to say that I literally finished the last episode about 20 minutes ago. So
Oh my God, is that the first time you'd watched it?
that I've been so okay. You know how you said it's a little hard to get into?
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. And I watched 1.5 episodes about 8 months ago.
You should
and I was like,
always listen to us, Quinny.
yes, I know. I know this now. But yeah, I sort of watched the first couple of episodes and I was like, I'm not sure this is for me. You know, it was very Rhys Darby, and I love Rhys Darby. But also I don't think in the when does Blackbeard come in? Is he in the first episode or is it
Third episode.
Yeah.
See, there you go. I hadn't even gotten to that bit.
Yeah.
So I hadn't really kind of hit the stride of what the show was about. And I was like, oh, I'll come back to that. And probably would have, maybe. But then we said we're reviewing it, so I had to.
Oh.
I can't remember if it was Jill or Beck who said to me, just keep watching. Like,
Yeah.
somebody said to me, just keep watching. And I was like, all right, I'll just keep watching. And it turns out it was right up my alley.
Well, my midterm memory is terrible, so I don't recall. I don't even remember if I had to persevere at the start, but I did watch the whole thing when it came out, and I rewatched it again last week.
Yeah,
I still really like it.
it is. And
nice.
well, it's we're reviewing this because soon season 2 is out from memory.
Yes.
And it's sort of a good little recap for anyone who missed it the first time around or just like, needed to have a refresher like me. Where I was like, wait, what happened? I forgot.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I
I
had the
only
same.
really remembered like what happened at the end because it's such a huge cliffhanger, and I want to know what's going to happen next season. And so I
Mm.
had to go back. I'm like, okay, but what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
How do we get here?
Yeah. And because yeah, I sort of had that huge big break, and I'd watched the first three episodes, and it was all very kind of twee. Like it's Rhys Darby being very Rhys Darby, and the rest of his crew being, you know, quite amusing and stuff like that. But yeah, you've really got to hit the point where the relationship with him and Blackbeard sort of kicks off, where they meet before the show's actually the show that it's setting out to be. It's funny. On the weekend, Jill and I were both at Oz Comic Con doing our thing. Yes,
you?
and multiple times the conversation went to TV shows that you just have to persevere through. Like one of them being Winona Earp. I got into a bit of trouble because I hadn't watched Winona Earp before talking to some of the cast from it. Turns out that goes badly.
But you did watch some Winona Earp.
I did on Saturday night because they made me.
Yeah, well,
the whole audience made me. But it's funny because I watched the 2 episodes, and then everyone came back to me, and I sort of gave them the look of like, what's going on? I said, no, it's okay. It's shit at the start. And I think there are a lot of shows that have that 3 or 4 episodes even at the start that are not necessarily what the show actually is.
Yeah.
Like you got to do an amount of world building, and I think maybe Our Flag Means Death is that.
I recall having a hard time getting started with Schitt's Creek. I had a hard time getting started with Parks and Rec, but at the end, those series really pay off.
Yeah.
I've had a really hard time with Parks and Rec.
Because we give you a hard time.
Much like Breaking Bad and The Wire. It's worthwhile by the end of it, Quinny.
Well, I'll take your word for it. One day, no, oh, Peter, your eyebrows just went very high. One day I will watch Parks and Rec. One day.
But not this day, because this is flags. Our flag means death.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm looking at the chat. There seems to be a real sort of feeling of awkwardness and like that they found this show uncomfortable, which
I mean, the first couple of episodes when you're just being introduced to Steve Bonnet as a character, he is hard to watch. It's part of the setup of the entire show that he's hard to watch and kind of hard to love in the beginning, like many characters we talk about who eventually actually, become lovable when you get to know them. But it is interesting that they go through 2 whole eps before they really start the core of the storyline. That to its detriment maybe means that it hasn't had the audience that it could have had.
Yeah. Sorry, you were going to say, Jill? I think you and Pete started talking at the same time, and I.
Yeah, but Peter kind of was very succinct about it.
Oh, okay, right. You're going to say the same thing. I just wasn't sure whether you were going to.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's just that type of humor. It's the Kiwi style of humor where it does that awkward. What's the other one?
Flight of the Conchords?
paranormal cop show. That one I fucking really can't get into because it's that weird, funny humor that's like they're being serious, but it's comedy and it's not really always funny and doesn't land. And so I get that that's the style of this show, but I do find Rhys to be quite an endearing numpty. Like, yes, he's a twit, but he has like a weird quality to him that is quite charming, and I actually don't mind watching him in this. It's so funny. I feel like the rest of the cast kind of bounce it out because they're with the audience. You become part of the crew through the rest of them all like ganging up on him behind his back to say, God, he's an idiot. Like, why are we doing this? We just want to get out here and be pirates.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of the Wes Anderson, very quirky, maybe a few little musical numbers that go in there. So much up your alley, Quinny. You're really going to like this. And also because it's shot a lot on green screen, like it's not like a lot of it. So it feels a bit disconnected in that kind of way. And it took me a while to get into it. And then also I'm not the biggest fan of Rhys Darby, but imagine that.
I like Rhys Darby, but I actually like him more when he's a voice actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I find him very, very funny when he's applied to an animated character. When you look at his real face, you're like, oh Jesus. No, no, that's.
But this
I'm kind, Quinny.
This character has a little bit more depth in it than it seems superficial, but it is not. It is quite deep, even though the character is superficial. Wait, yeah.
Especially by the end. By the end, I was watching the last episode just a minute ago, and watching him, I was like, fuck, I am actually invested in him as a romantic lead. Like, there is this thing where he goes from being foppish moron, who you're like, oh, you fucking idiot. And then throughout the course of the episode, you start seeing his qualities and you start going, oh, actually, there's a handsomeness there that comes from his honesty and his desire to just be himself
and his excellent dress sense.
Yes. And yeah, by the end of it, there's a couple of shots where I was like, fucking hell, they're shooting him like he's a hero. And I appreciated that because I felt like he was at that point. I really liked it.
I also feel like they even though he was set up as a foppish moron, there was a lot of likable traits set up to his character from the very beginning, and those are the things that really kind of subverted the pirate tropes. So for example, that he pays his crew a wage to make sure that they always get paid no matter how much they plunder, and reads them stories at night and lets them borrow any book that they want from the library, even though none of them can read. There is a kind of a lot of likability set up front that does kind of help to balance out the fact that he is indeed a foppish moron in the beginning.
But then I think it's somewhere around episode 4, I think it is. I think it's the passive aggressive episode where they go into this very, very rich French ship, I believe it is.
No, they're all Dutch pretending to be French.
Oh, that makes it even funnier.
Yes.
And you see that even of a level with the rest of them, he's not actually that bad. He's just like very passionate. He's just a nerd.
Well, there's a reason he doesn't belong in that world.
Yeah, exactly. And for a brief moment, Blackbeard Edward does belong in that world, but it's only because it's flavor of the moment kind of stuff.
Well, there's a naivety there about him not understanding what that world really is until he experiences it. It's a bit of a tale of the outcast, the downtrodden man, the kid who hasn't had the respect and love as a child. Like there's a lot there. There is a lot of flashbacks. There's a lot of backstory that actually builds very unexpected emotional depth into this entire thing. Again, given the first episode, you're like, yeah, this is very strange and absurd, and I don't think it's for me. The depth that they achieve within that genre is very surprising.
Absolutely. And the thing that I find the most amazing about it, it's all fucking true. It's based on a true story.
Oh, really?
This I did not know.
Okay, I am so happy to introduce you to this. This could be the spoiler section if you wanted, but it's not. Stede Bonnet is actually a real pirate. He was a wealthy landowner who decided that he wanted to be a pirate. He spent thousands and thousands of pounds and built a ship for himself against the wishes of his family, hired a crew of 70 people, and then set off. His crew hated him because he couldn't sail for shit. He was a fucking idiot. And he actually met up with Blackbeard.
No.
I shit you not. Hang on, I will find where I just had the Wikipedia. So 1688 and died in 1718. He's from Barbados, and inherited his family estate and basically and the ship is called the Revenge.
Oh my god, I love this show even more now.
This is what blew me away because I was watching it and I was realizing it's basically true. It's based on a true story anyway.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So and whether or not the relationship with Blackbeard was quite the same as what we get here, probably a little bit spurious, but at the same time, it's fucking delightful. So I would suggest anyone who's like, oh yeah, maybe I'll give it a go, maybe I won't, have a read. And then go and watch it.
Maybe don't read too far through the Wikipedia. Maybe just get a bit of a general sense of things because it might end up being a bit too much. But you just know that it's there was a real person called Stede Bonnet who was a landowner who became a pirate and met Blackbeard. The rest of it, watch the show.
Yeah. He actually became a proper pirate. He was, raiding other ships and everything, but at the same time was paying his crew. And you're just like, it's just so ridiculous. And I love that somebody has just gone, this is a story that needs to be told, but also it needs a story that needs to be told in the dumbest way possible. And I don't think there's anything about him actually having killed a British officer by accident. I think that's So that's another element of the show that we haven't actually talked about, that Stede has a trauma that he's dealing with throughout, that he's accidentally killed someone and believes himself to be a murderer.
Which is a fun thing for somebody who has voluntarily taken to a life of piracy to be upset about.
Exactly. I love the juxtaposition of it, of a man who's like, the pirate's life, but his idea of what being a pirate is completely bullshit.
He has a very romantic quality to his nature, and I think he feels like, sailing the seas and being free and like, living by his own means is what it means to be a pirate, not necessarily the violence, because that goes against everything that he believes. Like, he was traumatized as a child by a horrible father, and shown violence at a young age, and it goes against his sensitivities as a man, and he doesn't like violence.
No, and believes that the best way out of any situation is to talk it out as a group.
Should we? Yeah, I was going to say, should we rate this and then go to a clip and then come back and talk a bit more spoilery about season 1?
Yes,
because that will keep us on time.
Yes,
Sure.
and there's a whole bunch of other characters that I feel like we haven't even
we
touched
really
on
need to
yet.
talk about.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay, who wants to do some ratings right now?
I will go first and rate it 88 miles per pirates per hour on this journey back in time as I go through it, because it is a hard slog. I think for the first few episodes it took me a while to get into it, but once Blackbeard shows up and more of the interactions are going, and some of the other jokes and the side characters and where everyone's sitting and everyone's backstory starts to filter through, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's actually very funny. And then when you start reading, it's like, wait, these people existed? How? What? And also, it's just lovely. Like, it's just a lovely story by the end. I'm looking forward to season 2.
Until it destroys your heart, Dion. It's a lovely story until it destroys your heart.
I have a cold and dead heart. We all know this. Like, you can't shatter it any further.
I don't know. I reckon there could be some moments in season 2 that will bring us into even more pain. But
well, I mean, that's Blackbeard's pain, and that's just going to be physical pain because his emotional damage
exactly.
is going to result in some physical damage, I think.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yes. Pete, do you have a numerical score for us?
I'm gonna. I really wish that I had rewatched it before we talked about it. But based on my memory of the experience of watching it, I'm going to give it 92.
Hey.
And it's only not higher because those first 2 episodes are a little bit, bit of a tricky steer. And then it gets delightfully queer, and I'm there for it.
That's definitely a wonderful term for it. It does become delightfully queer. Right. I still don't know. Jill?
Oh, okay. I'll go with 90.
Nice.
I rewatched it and I did it in a day and a half, and I was like, I still like this show. And even on a rewatch, I still like the show. Like, it's been a few months, but it was nice to refresh and like watch it again and still enjoy every episode.
Yeah. Nice.
And still have the same feelings at the end, saying, "Oh no!" I was like, "What's gonna happen?"
Yeah. So much Erst. Powerful Erst. I'm up there with you. For me, I think it's a 91. To me, I found myself really enjoying watching 2 characters fall in love, and slowly realize that what they have going on is actually better than anything else they've got going on in their lives, and seeing it through all these different lenses, and saying, okay, well, and also all the other characters as well, like seeing their relationships develop and grow, and feeling more and more invested in all of them as I went. And I was like, at the end, there are a couple of sort of shocking things that happened. And I was like, fuck no. What no, not them. They're my favorite. So yeah, I'm very, very concerned about season 2. And I really, if 3 episodes in, I wasn't feeling that, or however many it was, I was like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, fairly quickly, I got super invested. So yes. And I've seen a few people throw their numbers in the chat, which is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Very helpful.
Yes.
All right, so we should go and see a clip. What was the clip you got, Quinny? You had that clip. You told me. You'd give us a quick description of the clip, and then we will go and watch that.
I really wish you hadn't asked that, because it was a clip that I found 3 and gave you the one that worked, and I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, surprise clip.
Yeah, surprise clip. I know that it's a clip with
Yay!
dialogue in it.
Excellent. Here's a clip with dialogue in it.
We're just not those kind of people. We never will be.
Sorry, tonight was a bit of a bust.
No, mate, you were right. Wasn't ready.
I don't know. I think you're very sophisticated.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a lovely piece of silk you have there.
Oh, this tatty old thing.
Well, sometimes the old things are the best things. May I? There we go. Look at that. You wear fine things well.
Okay.
Yep. Night.
Night.
Oh, yes. And how would you do that sort of lovely scene about just being nice to someone and putting a little red silk handkerchief on there?
That slow and unconscious falling in love with someone is like the sweetest thing that you could ever witness.
Yeah. Seeing a feeling grow that initially is, distrust, but then, oh no, we can have fun, and then, oh, hang on, and it is actually lovely watching a queer romance grow in amongst a bunch of other queer romances, but at the same time, them still kind of have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting metaphor that they've done, and I should put up the spoiler warning, spoiler logo. Well, there it is. Where did it go? Whenever you.
Right.
We've got the spoilers now. We're in spoiler section, but I did really enjoy the kind of subtle way that they were saying, look, these queer and different relationships have always been part of history, and
Yes.
like it's not that, like, it's you're not
They
expecting
weren't
it.
best friends, okay?
Yeah. They didn't just hang out forever for 30 years because they enjoyed each other's company. But like, even in this idea of a pirate show, they're all trying to hide it from each other up until the point where it's like, it's all fine. We're all running away from the same kinds of things. And we're just, it's fine. Is it? No, pirate. Gotta be a pirate. Anyway, yeah. It's an interesting kind of show that way.
Roommates, Missy.
Roommates.
Yeah.
They were
Roommates.
roommates.
Sure. And that's what I liked about it.
Yeah. I just love that there are so many other relationships happening around that, and there are some characters who are so clear about who they are, like, and then there are others who are so uncertain about who they are. And, so one of the other relationships that's sort of happening in the background is between Jim and Olawande. So Jim is played by Vico Ortiz, who is non-binary, and as such is playing somebody who is also both, appearing as a female and dressing as a man, and there's this complexity there, and you've got the uncertainty of Olawande early on of going, I'm attracted to this person, but oh, hang on, I'm not meant to be, but I am. Oh, hang on, I'm allowed to be. Am I? I don't know. And then,
Well, I mean,
you go.
sorry.
No, you go, please.
I was just going to say, Jim does really turn out to have a non-binary identity within the show as well.
Yes, yeah, which is beautiful. And then you've got Lucius, who is,
Very openly queer, yes.
super openly queer, but then starts a relationship with one of the characters, and you're like, really?
Yeah,
Of
I
all
think he
people?
might have a little bit of something with everybody on the ship, maybe.
100%. Apart from maybe Buttons.
Yeah. Buttons has his seagulls.
Ewan Bremner is having so much fun and spends a lot of time naked. It's very strange. But yeah, I don't know. I loved all of those sort of character relationships that were happening around, and therefore helping these two to work out, especially Lucius, because he's the one who's like, are you that fucking stupid you can't see that he likes you? And you're like,
I think that's kind of that wonderful thing about the whole show is you want to engage with them in this ridiculous way where you just kind of, as an audience member, by the time you get into this whole thing, you just want to reach through the screen and go, will you just do the thing already? Because like it's just so lovely, but because it's like they say, oh, it's for society, and you're like, tell society to get fucked. You're pirates. Who cares?
Sorry. I just read Missy's comment.
What?
That is amazing. It's so queer and so sex positive, and it really blew me away. But most other shows that have those elements are so serious. So this was like a unicorn rainbow fart of inclusive queerness.
Yes. And it's so
Absolutely.
lovely. And plus there's lots of there's heaps of side characters and bit parts and other like actors who've just kind of jumped in to this, and it feels like the Taika Waititi kind of sketch comedy troupe that gets thrown about every now and again. It's like, do you want to come in and play this bit part? It's like, wait, what is it? It was like, well, technically it's this kind of queer character. They're like, yes, I do. I want to come in and play that one, and then I'll just leave again at the end of the show. Why not? Yeah, I'm down for it.
I did think that the regular cast was fantastic, though.
Yes.
In even the smaller roles, the comic timing of all of the pirates was delightful, and the people who were playing kind of the baddie type roles, which of which there was kind of a variety of different takes on antagonists in there, and which was also kind of nice. We're looking from kind of different angles. I mean, you would generally think that the pirates are going to be the bad guys, and the British Navy is going to be the good guys, or vice versa, depending on what kind of show you're watching. But there was a little bit more complexity to it than that. But I can't think of a performance that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah. Like I liked Fred Armisten's character of Geraldo, the bartender, for Spanish Jackie.
I like Spanish Jackie too.
Love Spanish Jackie. Is she Spanish? No. Doesn't matter. Just get on with it. Rory Kinnear plays an interesting double role of Admiral Chauncey Badminton and his brother, whose name I've completely forgotten. Both of whom end up dead, so it's great.
Nigel Badminton and Chauncey Badminton.
That's the one. Thank you.
That name, Chauncey.
Yeah.
Also, badminton, you just get to be shuttlecocked across the court. Wait. No double entendres in this household, please.
Definitely not.
I also just love Claudia O'Doherty as the wife, just being as unapologetically Australian as she always is.
Yeah.
Which isn't that out of place in a cast of New Zealand accents.
She's your kind of actress, Peter. You can't do accents either. Maybe she can't.
I can't do accents, but you know what? She never does, and it just always works. It doesn't matter what kind of show you pick her up and plop her into. She just does a standard accent, and it's just always delightful.
And it's always standard, no fucking around Australian too. Yeah. It's not like there's any class or anything to it. It's just like, yep,
Look,
whatever.
I mean,
Cool.
that road has been paved many times throughout history, and if Sean Connery can just do the same thing, no matter whether he's an Egyptian or a Russian, and have the same accent, that's fine. If John Wayne can turn up and be both Genghis Khan and a politician by going, "Hi, I'm Genghis Khan."
What was it? Surely this must be the son of God.
Yeah.
Like a Roman soldier looking at Jesus.
Yeah. Wow.
I love my
Pilgrim.
favorite joke on that one. He's like, surely, John, can we do that with a little more awe? Oh, surely this must be the son of God.
Of course, you know, when Stede Bonnet, the real pirate, was around, neither Australia nor New Zealand accents actually existed. So, you know, if you're going to have one or the other, you may as well have them all.
Absolutely. Dion, you make a very good point. When are we going to get the What We Do in the Shadows crew showing up?
I don't want them playing parts. I want them as the vampires.
Oh, yes.
I want them to just go, and then they can reference it in the other ones. Like, oh yes, we tried piracy for a few years there.
That would be amazing.
It's just like, what?
That would be great.
Yeah. That's go on, get them all in. Like it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Do it, you cowards.
Yes, do it, you cowards.
Though, I mean, then maybe we can find out that Blackbeard has a twin brother that became a really shit vampire in New Zealand, got dropped off in the South Pacific hundreds of years ago or something.
Yeah, and Stede Bonnet's like long descendant is now a werewolf.
Werewolf.
Yeah. Yes. Who also happens to run a small talent agency for a couple of nice young boys called the Flight of the Conchords.
There's a couple, like if you do go and stuff, like I know that it's real people, like Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet are real people, but if you do have a look at some of the pictures and engravings of Stede Bonnet, there is a sort of thing where like, this may be more accurate to history than we expected. Like, you know,
Yep.
Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet just really good friends.
Were there any so one of the characters that I got very, very attached to, who I was fucking horrified by, and we are in deep spoiler territory here, so we are going to talk about stuff that happens at the end of the season. Having Lucius, like,
Don't even talk to me about it. Like,
what the fuck?
Don't even.
I know.
That's actually what made me cry.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
I'm like, no, he's not dead. He's not fucking dead.
He can't be. How dare?
How very fucking dare you?
How dare they?
Yeah. And Izzy, who is just like, fuck man,
Piece
get
of
over
shit,
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, and I mean, there is that whole thing of don't kill your queers. And
Well, that's everyone on this show.
Yeah, I know.
So you can't not kill someone. They're all queer.
Yeah, but Lucius is the one that is the most like played openly queer. And yeah, I came to love him a great deal more than I expected to.
I really hope that in season 2 they just find him and like he's been picked up by someone and is like in that weird trope that he's their revered god on an island somewhere being looked after.
That would be.
They're like, you're the foretold one. Yeah.
I would love to see like a cargo cult, except it's, you know, based on his teachings, and so everybody is just snarky as fuck.
That would be good too.
Yes, I'm down for this.
Did you also cry as much as the fact when all of the belongings and the nice outfits got thrown into the sea?
Look, it was all quite teary for me.
It was like, I'm sorry, that was a really nice wardrobe.
What if he do when he comes back? You
I
have to
know.
work it out. Don't throw it away yet.
But also seeing the fact that like, yeah, he's gone back and he's Blackbeard again, and you're like, oh, that's really bad. Oh no. But then the one shot of him crying, and you're like,
Destroyed.
Do you want-
Destroyed.
Yes. Do you want
Like,
to
Yeah.
another?
and that's the thing. You kind of don't start watching this show expecting to be emotionally destroyed at the end of it.
No,
No,
Which
really
is a little
not.
bit rude on behalf of the show. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, like,
Yes.
oh, I came for a light comedy about piracy.
Yes. A
Like,
little.
I didn't come for like a devastating love story. What is happening?
A little bit like Schitt's Creek, which I've got to say is the same sort of thing. Which is like,
Yeah.
this is just a comedy show about people we want to hate, and then by the end of it, you're like, God damn,
And
you
now
people!
I'm crying.
Why am I crying?
Multiple times, multiple episodes. Tears.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, the kiss. Oh my God. She was like,
Good cathartic tears though. This is like if you want to have some good like processing tears, I recommend Our Flag Means Death. Because yeah, it's not really something you sell to someone, is it? It's like, hey, you should watch this pirate show. You're gonna cry a lot.
Yeah.
And not because
mean-
you're worried about them stabbing people. You're gonna worry about the emotional damage of everything that's happening.
yeah, you cry a lot, but on the way there, you will laugh quite a lot too. And yeah, and be introduced. But it does such a good job of introducing ideas and then paying them off later as well. Like, you know, however early on in the show where they introduce the idea that Mary Bonnet is, you know, a painter, and you know, there's the painting of the lighthouse that you're like, oh, okay, I can see that, and then come back how many years later, and she's actually flourished and she's amazing at it, and you're like, okay, that's lovely, and it's character growth, and you can see so many things of characters growing and being better. It's very nice. Also, some really interesting choices of music towards the end of the season too. There are a couple of like sort of where they're using the music to really drive the story of like Break the Chain by
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac, thank you. And I was just like, oh, fucking hell, okay. I wasn't expecting that to have the impact that it did. Yeah. I want everybody to go and watch it, and now I'm really excited for season 2, which comes out in about a week.
Yay.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, get onto it. And if you have seen it, listen along with us with talking about how much we like it and get ready for season 2. Yay.
What do we
It's
think
another
might
one of those little things. It's half-hour episodes too, so it's not hard to consume. It's a little treat. It's not a chore. So it's not like if you're on the fence, you only really need to like just stick it out 3 episodes before you make your final decision, which I know is sometimes an annoying thing to hear, but they're only half-hour episodes, so it's not a big ask.
Can we have an episode as a little treat?
Yeah.
Little treat, little treat.
Just go on, have a little treat.
Yeah.
You've earned it.
All right.
Yeah,
lovely.
and definitely persevere, because it keeps giving you little gifts. From the moment that you get through to Blackbeard, it gives you a gift after a gift after a gift.
Speaking of little gifts, we're about to head into Spooktober. That's right.
Spooktober. I'm so ready.
Time to fuck the pumpkins. That's what we do, right? In October? Wait.
No.
What? No.
I have
yeah.
so many scary things I want to watch next.
Look, I mean, Australia's now got a TK Maxx, so there's got to be lots of like
I did browse one the other day. There's so much junk.
Yeah, 3 seasons ago, Halloween decorations that we get in Australia now that
All
don't
of the
quite
candles
work.
smell exactly the same, but that's okay.
The spookiest time, the spookiest time of the year where we get to do Spooktober. And just so everyone knows, for next Tuesday, which is the 3rd, we're not doing the show because there are 5 fucking Tuesdays in October, and we can only do 4 shows.
But also, we're just extending the public holiday by a day to give ourselves a little break.
Yeah. We're gonna have a break
Because
as a
we
treat.
deserve a little treat.
Yeah. And you know what you can do on that night? You can go and watch the new episodes of Our Flag Means Death, because it comes out on that day, I believe.
How
what we'll be doing.
It's like it all worked out. I think we've got, what are we doing? On the 10th, we're going to do Ahsoka. Yay! And then,
October 5th, my bad.
17th, we're going to be doing One Piece. There you go. The 24th, we haven't actually locked down yet, I don't think. And then on the 31st will be the Halloweenies special, which will just be like spooky things. Think of spooky stuff.
Yeah.
We'll just tell you about what you can spook yourself out with.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for the budget for 2025 for Australia. That's my spooky prediction.
Please no.
It's gonna be terrible.
Not real life nihilistic horror, please.
All I have is real life nihilistic horror. What are you talking about? I don't
No,
have
I just want to go and
anything
buy
else.
a 6 foot tall plastic skeleton. That's my nihilistic horror.
Yeah,
Look into
and
its eyes.
I know. Yeah, it's like no, Casper. I haven't seen any of the One Piece anime anyway, but apparently it's good. Let's go. Missy, our fog means death. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I want to see a Muppets version, and it'd be our frog means death. Kermit the Frog.
That would be amazing. The amount of my concern is the amount of queer representation and also the amount of like weird New Zealander stuff would just generally mean it'd become a Feebles episode.
Yes, that's cool. Also, yeah, Loki's coming out soon. Someone
yes, kind of excited for Loki.
Casper talking about the Mist. I mean, which Mist? The original Mist or the remake Mist? Yeah.
Oh, wasn't there a TV version of it as well?
Yes.
Like there was the film and then there was a TV one.
Yeah.
There are so many horror and
the
scary
mist
things.
might be a reference to our fog means death.
Ah.
Da, da, da. As always,
because they're very funny, aren't they?
As always, our audience is way smarter than we are. Well, way smarter than I am. Smarter? Way smarter.
Yes.
Got to go. Dion having a stronk. Oh, dearie me. Yes, yeah, thank you for our flag means death. This is a fun little episode. This is nice. We had a little episode as a treat, and we're going to finish ahead of time as a little treat.
As a little treat.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we've all had a big day. Many of us have had a very big weekend, and I
may have seen Quinny at Oz Comic Con and Jill at Oz Comic Con. And
yeah, to the people who did
you
actually
might
come
not
up,
have seen me because I was stuck in a room for 5 hours judging costumes, but it was a good
you judge the hell out of them, and the people that got judged felt super judged.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, and to the people who came up and said hello to me, some of our regular listeners and stuff who did come and say hi, it was really, really fucking lovely to see you. Like it was so nice to have people come up and go, hey, and yeah, it was really cool. So thank you. And also I have now got to go and watch a lot more Winona Earp. I have been brought around to the Earpers.
This is the way, Quinny.
Mm-hmm. I am a flat earper.
All right.
Look out for the retrospective episode later.
Honestly, if we did, what I have learned about them is that the Earp fandom are fucking scary.
Oh.
Well, that's not. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, they're scary in how fucking loving and embracing and shit they are. Like on the Sunday
acceptance.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They actually, was it aggressive optimism? I think was one of their leading tenets. Like they rocked up. They were, it became revealed I hadn't watched a single episode, and one of them ran up to the stage to give me their Blu-ray. And then, on the Sunday, the guests appeared and they brought cookies for everybody. It was just, I've never seen a fandom so fucking passionately embracing. And I was like, oh, wow. And I hate to tell you this, but when I watched the first episode of the show, I'm like, oh, this is shit.
Oh, no.
It's like you look at a trailer for it and you'll be like, oh, this is shit. This is
It's a little bit CW, isn't it?
It's not even CW. It's bargain basement sci-fi channel.
Oh no.
Yeah, but what I hadn't realized is that yes, it's bargain basement sci-fi channel, but it's also super fucking queer and has a bunch of very, very attractive people in it, and they're very progressive, and the showrunners are very progressive, and so it just becomes this massive queer love-in, and lots of people are looking at it going, oh, this show is representation for me. This is really, embraces me. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
So, you're kind of selling me on it, Quinny. Maybe I'll go and watch the Winona Earp.
Look, I it's funny, after I'd watched the 2 episodes, one of the cast was like, So the first episode is a bit shit, isn't it? And I was like, yeah. He said, it's okay, just keep going. It actually works out its tone around episode 4 or 5. And from then, it's just a roller coaster. You know, it's a lot of fun. But this is what I think with so much genre TV. It works out its tone and it's given enough time to do that. And yeah, there you go.
Well, if anyone does want to check it out, it's on Stan. It is, which is where I watched it. Legally crazy.
Yes, no more piracy talk. We're off to that. We're done with the piracy. We're all about the legality now.
Yes.
Excellent. We're going to go and rate anyone, Quinny, or are we going to...
Doesn't look like there's anyone around who's actually doing anything.
That's okay. Well, that's all. Thank you for everyone who joined us in the chat, and hopefully you can all have a nice time going to Find Our Flag Means Death and Wynonna Earp. You know, two things we didn't think would match up, but that's where we go.
Yes. Cowboys and pirates. Off you go.
Yeah. Oh, no. Add some aliens and then, oh, this is all terrible. All right. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Night.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. The powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have 'em teach me ways, and then we'd exercise.